orange trim. Our officials: Bart Lennox, Chuck Jones, Patrick Evans. And a rebound secured by Sebastian Williams-Adams. Caden Magwood, the freshman from Louisville, Kentucky, makes his first career start in an Auburn uniform today. Though Steve Pearl did tell us that they expect Pettiford to play starters minutes despite coming off the bench this afternoon. Here's Hall, and he was fouled on the drive.
See already, it's Keyshawn Hall. He has all of the ability to get buckets in a hurry, and maybe his best attribute is drawing fouls. He's already found himself going to the free throw line on the first possession.
This will be his 100th free throw attempt of the season. Among the SEC leaders in that category, among others.
Really good sign for Auburn getting out of the gate. And Keyshawn Murphy, Keyshawn Hall, those two guys in the front court will have to make sure that they are going to set the tone for Auburn. A little stoppage play.
Shot clock issue here at Stegman Coliseum, where Georgia has won 11 in a row. Mike White's team off to its third best start in program history at 12-1. But now that next season begins for a Georgia team that was not really tested much in the non-conference slate. Part of that by design. They stacked some wins, built some momentum for a team with a plethora of new players.
Well, Mike White has done a phenomenal job here at Georgia. Had a team last year with Asa Newell, an NBA draft pick, who did an outstanding job. Went to the NCAA tournament. This team is just as strong.
First foul on Keyshawn Hall. Georgia, as you mentioned, lost Asa Newell, and frankly, a lot of their production from last year. Blue Kane, one of their returners, but multiple transfers playing substantial minutes for this team so far this year, including Jordan Ross from St. Mary's.
Well, that was a beautiful move right there by Jordan Ross. He set it up like he was going towards the middle. The quick spin on the big man going baseline. Elite finish there by number 3 in White.
A lot of physicality early in this game. Already the third foul. We're not even a minute in.
Jordan Ross, look at that jab step and a quick spin. That's a beautiful move. Excellent footwork on display. And there he is fighting, coming around that curl, gets a piece of Murphy and draws a foul. Great sequence there by Jordan Ross.
Santos Surreal with a two-hand jam. And that gets this sold-out crowd on its feet early.
Santos Surreal back playing above the rim. An elite dunker in the college game. Quite frankly, a blown coverage. Keyshawn Murphy's got to understand how to keep Surreal in front of you. Give him any easy path to the bucket, and you know he's going to finish with a dunk.
All off the bounce. Lays it in. Keyshawn Murphy with a floater. He has looked healthier in recent weeks after dealing with both a knee and a hip flexor early in the season.
He's going to be key for Auburn, and not only is it going to be on the defensive end, but can he bring an element of scoring to go alongside Hall? Keyshawn Murphy a little too excited on that defensive possession, outruns Santos Surreal and gives him a clean path all the way to the basket.
So he leads the SEC in dunks for a team that leads the nation in dunks. And a lot of that is the fact that they've played in transition most of the non-conference slate. They've been too physical, they've been too athletic for much of their competition.
And I do think this is a team with their athleticism. It will continue to translate this season in SEC play. Surreal is someone who can stand up to anyone physically. And here he is making an impact early.
Boy, already 4 fouls on Auburn, 2 minutes into the game. Our officiating crew calling this rivalry matchup tightly to start. Jordan Ross spins left hand, lays it off the window. It has become a crafty contributor, and a collision at midcourt, including Ross and Kevin Overton, who had just picked up a foul at the 18-minute mark.
Jordan Ross has been in a groove. The spin move has been getting himself the separation he needs, and then hustling for the loose ball. Fortunately for him, he takes the front of that hit. Foul in Auburn basketball.
It's going to go back to Georgia.
There you see that pesky defensive work right there. Jeremiah Wilkinson doing a great job fighting over ball screens and creating a turnover.
Stephen Pearl named the head coach in September, following in the footsteps of his father, Bruce, winning as head coach all time in Auburn history. And another strong take, that time by the leading scorer, Jeremiah Wilkinson.
And you can see Georgia's immediately jumping into some full court pressure. Auburn has to be prepared to handle the pressure collectively. If you take a possession off, it makes it difficult. A great job finding Keyshawn Murphy up top with that lob.
Coming up 9 points, 6 boards, 3 blocks in the win against Queens. Steve Pearl said he's had that bounce that they grew accustomed to last year from him and early in the season before the injuries. Jordan Ross rattles in another 2 in the paint. He has 6 early points for the Dogs.
You see a little bit of the depth of this Georgia team as Ross has come out on a tear early on.
Extra pass to Overton results in a 3-point foul, and he will be headed to the foul line. Second foul already on Jordan Ross. Well, is it just me, or does it feel like they're calling this game pretty tightly to start?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of emotion and energy in the gym. Everyone understands how important this game is. You know, I can't speak enough the volumes in which that it is to get off to a great start in SEC play.
There's been a lot of talk this year about how many wins will it take to make the big dance. Obviously, last year, a banner season for the league, 14 teams making the NCAA tournament. It remains to be seen if the league can get close to that again this year. Certainly, as you talked about, Richard, the league on a whole did not quite have the same dominant performance throughout the non-con as it did last season, which would lead you to believe that league play means even more this season for teams like Auburn, who had 4 losses to top 10 teams before the SEC slate began.
It absolutely does. And domination in last season's non-conference was exactly what that was. And it's a huge opportunity for many teams to see if they can put together a strong conference season to get into the NCAA tournament. But it's wide open.
Blocked at the rim by Santos Cerrillo. They're going to count the bucket and say that it was a goaltend.
Direct call by this official. Cerrillo a step slow with that rejection. This is the pace if you're Auburn that you want this game to be playing. They're doing a phenomenal job of forcing Georgia to have to play a long set in the half court.
That's a 3-point shooting foul. Wilkinson will go to the line. It's on Magwood. And that is the second on the freshman from Louisville, making his first career start this afternoon.
That's a tough call there on Magwood as he tried to apply the pressure and really tell if he got a piece of the hand. But nonetheless, Georgia on the free throw line, shooting 3.
What else is new? Averaging 22 makes per game at the line this year. That's second in the country behind only Southern Cal.
They're extremely aggressive, and many of the players, as you come in off the bench, you have the green light, particularly to push it in transition. But I think where they really become disruptors is when they jump into the press.
Jeremiah Wilkinson has been one of the top scorers in the SEC, transferring over from Cal. Overlooked early in his career, not so anymore, as he regularly scored 20 and 30 points per game last year in the ACC. Jahad Pettiford into the ballgame for the first time for Auburn. Backdoor feed, and what a finish by Philip Jovic.
Strong finish. Jovic able to have a little bit of hang time and muscling that in off the top of the glass.
Luke Kane way off the mark with that three. Here comes Pettiford. Hall up and under, scoops it in.
Did I tell you he's a smooth operator? And you see that body control and adjustment by Keyshawn Hall in transition. Magnificent.
This is the pace we expected this afternoon.
The key for Auburn is going to be, do you not fall into the trap of Georgia? They had the game playing at the pace in which they want. They need to have some long offensive sets to slow down the tempo in which Georgia wants to play.
Auburn has yet to miss a field goal attempt until now. Swatted by Surreal. Last touch by Pettiford. It'll be Georgia basketball when we come back. A hot start. Both teams shooting above 75%. We'll be right back after this.
Real beautiful basket.
One of the things that Stephen Pearl told us he wanted to see from his team today that he hasn't yet seen is how they respond in tough road environments. Blowout losses to Arizona and Purdue, both top 10 teams, both terrific road environments. Today is another terrific road environment, a top 25 team in front of a sold-out crowd. So far, the opening response from Auburn has been exceptional.
Well, they've been challenged in the non-conference, and that type of challenge that you've had is what you want to see if they can respond. So far, Auburn has done a magnificent job controlling the tempo and pace of this game, but they have to keep it up after the break.
Smurf Millender, excellent three-point shooter into the game now for Georgia, as is Justin Bailey. Fadeaway jumper, and it rattles out. And now Pettiford coming off the bench for the first time this season, running the point for the Tigers.
I think Pettiford can really find some confidence in coming off the bench. Last season, only one start, very comfortable in that Final Four team, in that role. I look for him to see if he can regain a little bit of his swagger.
Well, interestingly, Pettiford throughout his career has been much better on the road than he has been at home. We asked Stephen Pearl about that, and he said, I don't have an answer, but I might start putting him in a hotel for home games, feeding him the hotel food, just to give him some of that sense of being on the road. But he did tell us seriously, I think he relishes that villain role in front of opposing crowds.
Well, I thought Jahad Pettiford did a marvelous job last season, coming off the bench as a freshman coming in that was highly touted. He accepted the role on a veteran team. And when he came in, he was instantly impactful with his offensive production. Now he's at the top of the scouting report. And the responsibility is a little bit more on him. But if he can accept this adjustment of coming off the bench today and get to his old self of getting into plays like that, making a big difference.
Pettiford with the steal, trying to finish. Can't, but there for the tap back, Elijah Freeman.
Excellent job by Elijah Freeman. Following it up after the steal from Pettiford. Pettiford, with his ability, if he can generate some offense from his defense and get to the free throw line, I think that would be what he needs to get himself back into more of efficient production.
Millender rings down a three. First to the game for the Dogs.
Smurf Millender, a confident player, can step right in and score in bunches.
The American Conference last year in three-point shooting and was just tagged with a foul, trying to defend the much taller Freeman.
Millender coming over now playing for Mike White is used to playing in pace and space. He played for Austin Clonch at UTSA. That ability of them trying to play at an up-tempo has translated very well here at Georgia.
Shot nearly 44% from downtown last year. Freeman weaving and could not float it over the top of Justin Absent.
See why Georgia is leading the country in block shots. Justin Absent coming in right off the bench and making a defensive impact. A couple of years ago at App State, he was one of the nation's leading shot blockers.
Former Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year. Catch and shoot three. Short. Rebound Hall. 15 to shoot for the Tigers. Last touch by Georgia on the entry pass into Jovic, 9 to shoot.
Really good job by Spurs. Millender backing down on Jovic after the double team. That's when if you're Jovic, you got to cut off the small guard with an arm bar and corral that ball with one hand and get the easy deuce.
Pettiford. Deep three won't go. Absent the rebound. Millender pushing the pace.
Really good defense by the Tigers.
There's Jake Wilkins, son of multiple-time NBA All-Star Dominique Wilkins. Millender step back, then underneath to beat the shot clock.
Good D with just better O. Smurf Millender, what a crafty move. In the presence of mind and poise, understanding how much time he had left to get that up on the glass.
Tied at 18, 12 minutes to go in the opening half. Ball off the bounce. Offensive foul. Drawn by the 5'11" Smurf Millender.
Smurf Millender putting his body on the line, taking a charge, but on the offensive end, the beautiful.
Well, as we talked about early in this game, Richard Hendricks, Georgia with one of the top offenses in the country. So much of their scoring has come on the break, leading the nation with 27.5 fast break points per game.
So they get out and run, and they've been able to be highly effective doing that with their bench depth. They come right in the game and get things in the press. It's going to be important to see if they can turn Auburn over. And Auburn's done a really good job right now of limiting Georgia from getting out in their transition.
And that's exactly what Mike White told us he expected coming into SEC play. He told us, look, we know the schedule that we played has allowed us to get up and down maybe more than we're going to be able to in league play. We expect some half-court grinded out in this game against the Tigers.
Well, Auburn can match Georgia's ability athletically. They've done a great job of Georgia. Only 0 fast break points in the game so far. Stephen Pearl has to be pleased with Auburn's defensive execution as they now show a little bit of a zone.
Something they showed very little early last season until they came here to Athens. And they played a lot of zone in a win against the Dogs.
Doing a really good job. And Keyshawn Murphy's the key in that zone. And he's stepping up on those ball screens.
Pettiford knocks down a deep two. Rhythm jumper from Tahad Pettiford, his first point.
That's a big bucket right there for Auburn. They're jumping right back into this 2-3 zone. But notice when they go screen roll, Keyshawn Murphy's back there working like a middle linebacker, stepping up, not allowing to get the turn around the corner.
There's a response from Jeremiah Wilkinson from deep.
At that time, a blown assignment as Stephen Pearl upset with Keyshawn Murphy not getting up. He's playing in the middle, as I said, like a spy, a middle linebacker. And when they run screen roll, he's got to be up at the level of the screen.
Murphy thought about it, now does launch. Off the mark. Wilkinson on the move. Santos Surreal could not handle the bounce pass. He's behind the play. Numbers for Auburn. Open three, and Jefferson passes it up. Pettiford corrals. From three, knocks it down. and a grin at the student section here at Stegman Coliseum.
Jahad Pettiford, back-to-back jumpers. As we mentioned, been struggling with his shot. The adjustment from head coach Stephen Pearl, bringing them back off the bench, has proven to be effective. Ball comes right to Pettiford, and there he is with plenty of time, lines that one up and strokes it. Number 0 in Navy, starting to get in the groove.
Held to just 10 total points on 3 of 15 over the last couple of games. Challenged coming into SEC play by Stephen Pearl. 2-point game, less than 10 minutes to go in the opening half. Wilkinson draws a foul on Pettiford, and that is number 7 on the Tigers. 1-1 the rest of the way.
Well, this is a part of the recipe for Georgia. 99 points a game. They can get to the free throw line and make you pay just as good as any of them. They understand when they're in the potential to be in the bonus, and that rip through right there is able to get them to the free throw line.
Missed on the front end. Wilkinson is 77% free throw shooter this year. Overton slips it to Murphy. Great move. And puts Surreal on skates.
Really good job. Keyshawn Murphy used the momentum of Santos Surreal against himself as he used that little bit of a fake, pivoted around, freed himself up for an easy one.
Ross, floater, Surreal could not corral, and Freeman wisely lets it go out of play. 4th turnover early in this game on Georgia, a team that's averaging right around 11 turnovers per game.
Well, this has been the test. We talked about them. Have they been challenged playing top-level opponents? And I do think this is a very strong Georgia team, but the adjustment will have to be made right here to see if they can get this momentum back into their favor.
Going with some full court pressure. Pettiford step back 3. Rims it down. His second triple in the opening half.
And he's on fire. And now the beautiful thing about that action was that Auburn came down and ran through their set. They took their time. Pettiford gave the ball up, run some little action to get him moving, and then he's able to go into his game.
Wilkinson, extra pass, outside Ross.
Jordan Ross is spotting up. He's been on a tear this game, coming out shooting the ball perfect from the field so far.
After one of his least productive offensive performances of his young Georgia career against LIU last week. Pettiford just miscommunication with Murphy, then throws it out of bounds.
Yeah, not thrilled with that last possession right there by Pettiford. And he found something when he came through and gave it up, circled through, running off a couple of screens, and gets himself open. Continue to run that. Making Georgia work in the half-court set will translate on the other end as they want to get out and run.
Deep 3, Wilkinson, splash! A 6-0 Georgia run over the last 40 seconds. Wilkinson in double figures with 11. Murphy catch and shoot. And Wilkinson rips down the rebound. Luke Kane, fadeaway J.
They'd like to see Auburn have a little bit more motion in their offense.
That's a big bucket by Elijah Freeman. Needed it.
As Freeman says, motion that. He's just blown coverage by Georgia, and Freeman's able to line one up.
4-point lead for the Auburn Tigers.
Well, the threes have been rolling for Auburn, and Jahad Pettiford's been coming out here feeling it. He got the friendly bounce for that one. But Wilkinson from Georgia from beyond the NBA range. But a blown coverage on the last one. Freeman gets himself freed up for Auburn. We got a good one here on the opener.
Dr. Pepper presents a
Pettiford came off the bench and produced a then career-high 24 points against Georgia last year on January 18, 2025. Today, he came off the bench for the first time this season. Already 8 quick points on 50% from the floor.
I think it's a magnificent strategy by head coach Stephen Pearl. As Tahad Pettiford shooting 37% from the field this season. You need to get a spark from a player who you have high expectations from. He's found a comfortable role coming off the bench, and here he is picking up with some of the type of play he had last season.
Wilkinson stayed with it. It was jarred loose. I believe that was last touched by Jovic, and it was. So it'll stay here with 5 to shoot. By the way, that 24-point performance by Pettiford last year was here in Athens. Maybe something to playing on the road for the young preseason All-American sophomore. Got to go quickly if you're Georgia. Millender. Oh, what a money shot from the corner.
Millender has an outstanding presence of mind. Auburn did a phenomenal job defending that baseline out-of-bounds set. But Millender, with the poise to know how much time he had left, was able to get one off.
Murphy short. Here comes Cannon Catchings. Oh, that's smooth behind the back floater, running in the lane for Catching.
And the deceleration coming full speed. And there's the turnover. Georgia's going to come after you, as it looks like Stephen Pearl wants to get a timeout to regroup.
Look at this shot by Smurf Millender. Got the basketball with less than 3 seconds to shoot. A pump fake and then a jumper from the corner.
Jet in the corner, did the pump fake, gives himself a little bit of space, and he's able to knock it down. That type of ability and presence of mind is huge. Veteran player coming to the SEC.
Has helped Georgia to an 11-3 run. He is one of just a couple of transfers to come over without NCAA tournament experience. It was something that Mike White wanted. Jordan Ross had been to the tournament with St. Mary's, Catchings with BYU, and of course Justin Bailey with Wofford. Millender and Wilkinson have never been to the tournament, and for Millender, this is his 3rd program. He is playing with an urgency right now, according to Mike White, that permeates throughout the rest of the team.
Well, you definitely want players that have a winning pedigree, but in some cases, you're in a situation where you can have a winner that might not have been on a winning team, and they've been able to find so with Smurf Millender, and they've been able to integrate him into this offense very well.
Luke Kane with 2 to shoot. Knife into the basket. Again, beating the buzzer for Georgia.
Beautiful move. Luke Kane splitting that defense. And then the athleticism to elevate and hang time. Beautiful finish by Kane.
First 2 points for Blue Kane. It's a 13-3 run for Georgia. Offensive rebound out to Pettiford, left wide open, knocks it in, his 3rd 3. And Pettiford in double figures with 11.
Well, there he is. And now Auburn's got to do a much better job defensively of slowing down this offensive attack of Georgia. Georgia's starting to get a little too comfortable. Going to have to extend this pressure.
Catchings, no. And the rebound Overton, he was fouled by Catchings. And that's number 6 on Georgia. 1 more Tigers in the bonus. Mike White has led steady improvement year after year for this Georgia team, leading them to the NCAA tournament last year for the first time in a decade. And now this year, how do they build on it? How do they become that perennial contender that he built up at Florida before, and before that Louisiana Tech?
He's done a phenomenal job. It gets elite level talent to come here to Athens. They've been playing hard for him, and here he is. He's got a dogfight in his first game in this year's SEC opener.
Pettiford on skates, floats it off the window. Tahad Pettiford with a game-high 13.
That's just a strong individual effort. Pettiford kept that ball. Wow!
Kareem Stagg, right place, right time.
Pettiford just had that ball all isolation, and now he's just in a group. Tahad Pettiford for the last possession controlled the ball for the entire possession and came up with the bucket. And here he is. He gets the switch that he wants, and he takes advantage. Here he is, the beautiful move stepping through. Georgia, Kareem Stagg, Johnny on the spot. And athleticism, a beautiful finish in traffic.
3 shots here for Pettiford, who has averaged 15 points per game on 42% from 3 in his career on the road. A much better shooting percentage than he has averaged at his home arena in Auburn, Alabama. But he is paramount to their success, leads the team in minutes, 3-point field goals, assists, blocks, their second leading scorer. If they're going to make a run at repeating as the SEC regular season championship, in many respects, it runs through Tahad Pettiford.
Well, he has to do his part. Now, and I do think that Auburn has to establish a number 3 scorer on this roster. Now, Kevin Overton has had some big-time games, and he's going to have to be that third wheel to really bring it home for the Tigers. But this is a team that's going to get it done by committee, as many of these teams in the SEC.
Second foul on Kevin Overton. Wilkinson at the line for a 1-and-1. These teams have played some thrilling games in recent memory, including a 2-point game last year in which Georgia had a chance to send it to overtime at the buzzer. But Auburn has won 5 in a row in the series. You got to go back 3 years the last time Georgia beat the Tigers. Freeman slipping into the paint for 2.
You see his athleticism that he has. That was a major leap and a tough rebound right there.
Freeman steps into a 3. Ross catching, and Ross tracks it down. Another 3. Wilkinson off the mark. Good game. The tap back effort was fouled, and 2 shots coming for the junior from Knoxville, Tennessee. When we come back, rapid start to the SEC opener in Athens. Right back after this.
There isn't one thing that makes the SEC special. There are a million different things. The students, the legends, the fans, the passions, the traditions. And when it all comes together, it just means more.
Fish Slay, Alyssa here with you. We will see you in just a few minutes on the All-State Halftime Report. We'll talk this game, Kentucky-Bama, some drama down in Baton Rouge. What have you seen so far?
I'm impressed by Auburn keeping Georgia out of fast break points, keeping their fast break pace low.
Yeah, but it's only been Tahad Pettiford. Georgia's doing it by committee. That would concern me if I'm Auburn.
We will have plenty to discuss in just a few minutes, guys.
Well, thank you very much, Alyssa. And guys, that's exactly what Richard and I were talking about during that last commercial break for Auburn. How can they get more guys involved than just Tahad Pettiford, who's done a lot of it in isolation so far this afternoon?
He absolutely has. They've had several possessions where he's come down and the ball hasn't touched any of the other players. Now, Pettiford has the hot hand, and you have to recognize that you want to find him. But they've been extremely productive when the ball has moved and you played with a little bit of offensive flow in the half-court sets. When that happens, Auburn has gotten wide open looks, and they've knocked them down.
Luke Kane at the line after 3 missed threes in a row by Georgia. He corralled the rebound, tap back effort, no good, but was fouled on the attempt. Already 8 free throws in the game for Georgia. They have made 5 of them. Wilkins comes in for Kane. Final 3:23 to go in the opening half, tied at 40. Georgia trying to start their SEC slate with a win against the reigning conference champions. Already 8 ties in this classic Old South rivalry. Murphy triple team finds Overton, less than 10 to shoot. Tap out effort was there for Williams-Adams, but nobody in the corner to pick it up. It's Georgia ball.
Well, not a bad look for Auburn in that last possession. Not able to convert, but more than anything, that doesn't allow Georgia to get out in transition. They get back and get their defense set. Even if it's not a make, it can be considered a win for the Tigers.
Wilkinson already with 13. Left of the rim on that three-point attempt. Pettiford step back. Wilkins tried to get it out to Dylan James. James wasn't ready for the pass. 5 turnovers on the Dogs.
Showing a little bit of zone.
Overton left open. The three-point shots have not fallen for the Tigers other than Pettiford. There's a foul underneath. Williams-Adams will go to the line.
Really good recognition by Auburn to understand that Georgia had switched their defense over to a zone. Got a clean look. Tough to rebound out the zone. They got the offensive rebound.
Slate of conference matchups here in the SEC. Coming your way next at 3:30, 6 and 8:30. With the conference's second leading scorer, Josh Hubbard, trying to get Mississippi State back on the right track. Taking on Sean Miller's Texas. Misses at the line for Williams-Adams. Shot at less than 50% from the stripe so far this year. Inside Surreal. Using the body. Man's move. 6'11", 260. Haven't seen him touch the ball a ton so far this afternoon in the paint, but maybe they should get it to the big man.
Established deep position right down there in that restricted arc. It's a real strong move, get the elbows up, fingers get out of the way. And I don't blame him.
Stephen Pearl was asked about defending him. He said, he looks like a created player on a video game.
He's been extremely effective this season. His favorite play is a dunk. When he gets point play, you better watch your head.
Williams-Adams wanted none of that. Passed it out. And it results in a turnover, now 3-on-1. Wilkinson takes it himself. Just missing out on a three-point play. Back to the line for 2 for Georgia's leading scorer. Second foul on Tahad Pettiford, 10 on the Tigers in the first half. Boy, he is as explosive a player as you will see all year. Has struggled at the foul line a little bit early in this game. The reigning ACC 6th man of the year. Doesn't play like 6'1".
Not at all. Explosive is exactly the word. Dynamic end to end. and extremely confident.
Blue Kane turned loose. 3-on-1 again. And Blue Kane traveled the 6th Georgia turnover.
Kane not with the handle, but nonetheless, and come up with the turnover, but Georgia's right back in the press. You're going to see a relentless effort from the Bulldogs and Mike White challenging his team to keep the pressure on for 40 minutes.
Tigers have not scored in nearly 3 minutes. Overton unable to change that. Murphy the offensive board. Back out to Overton, a deep three. And Dylan James lets it trickle out of bounds. Boy, Auburn started the game shooting 85% from the floor. They have cooled a little bit, shooting now less than 50%. The buckets have come with more resistance on this end of the floor against the Georgia defense as of late.
And Auburn still has been able to execute their game plan. You're playing against the leading scoring team in the country. You held them to 43 points so far in the first half. Now, this is a huge possession here for the Tigers. Can you come up with a stop and a bucket, or can Georgia keep the pressure on and try to extend this lead?
Wilkinson up and under. That was smooth. And he has 16.
And he made it look so easy. Quick crossover goes right down the middle of the lane for the easy deuce.
7-0 Dogs run. About a 2-second differential between game and shot clock.
Like they're going to go spring roll with Pettiford. Ready to switch if you're surreal.
Inside Murphy, true contact on Smurf Millender, the second on the UTSA transfer, and Auburn going to the line.
Now that's the chess match right there, and a great job by Fahad Pettiford. They go screen roll, and they try to trap, and on the other end, Jeremiah Wilkinson able to take it all the way to the basket. Elite level finishing around the basket.
2 shots for Keyshawn Murphy. Stops a near 4-minute scoring drought for Auburn. Missed a couple of games with a knee and hip flexor injury earlier in the season. Those have lingered, but they feel like he is as healthy as he's been all year. Final 5 seconds, Wilkinson drives through contact off the window. Come on! Jeremiah Wilkinson with 18. Beats the buzzer to close the first half for Georgia, a 5-point lead.
When we talk about his elite end-to-end speed, a little over 6 seconds to go, and that's plenty of time for Jeremiah Wilkinson to go end-to-end. The Georgia Bulldogs with the momentum. It's a quick change of direction. That hesitation as he's able to regain his composure mid-air with the soft touch off the glass. Beautiful bucket.
When he got that basketball, there was nowhere else it was going but up. Georgia 9-0 this year when leading at the Hanchley. And the first shot of the second half is off from Pettiford. Inside Sabrina with a 2-hand kick.
Georgia has picked up right where they left off. They were able to get some easy, quick buckets, and now the defense into the transition. Fahad Pettiford's got to do a much better job of running the offense to get a quality shot. That miss led to the easy leak out for the Bulldogs.
Auburn, almost another turnover. Overton saved it, and there's a kick ball. No, a foul in there. And it's on Jeremiah Wilkinson, his first.
That one. Call him for raking that foot.
This is the SEC, man.
Well, yes, you know I like a physical brand of ball. I think that might have been a play on, but nonetheless.
What a feed ball. almost an opportunity there.
Good job right there by Keyshawn Hall being a facilitator. And there's a foul on the arm right there of Keyshawn Murphy. But I do think this is the moment that Keyshawn Hall is going to have to try to bring it a little bit more. I mean, he's the guy who's averaging over 20 points a game. He's been the man for Auburn. And he hasn't really had his typical performance in the first half. But this is a game where he's going to have to go ahead and give the offensive production that the Tigers need.
Well, as you alluded to, Hall early in the game got going a little bit, got to the free throw line, had a big bucket, and was essentially non-existent after that. Santos Surreal, meanwhile, with a pair of dunks to start the second half.
Well, it's such a luxury. When you get stuck in no man's land, you just throw it at the rim, and Santos Surreal will find it, and a beautiful throwdown off the alley-oop.
Murphy off the mark. And here comes Wilkinson. Ninth into the cup, he has 20 points. Largest lead of the game for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia's doing a great job executing, coming down in their transition and secondary break. They're keeping things spaced out. And when you have Wilkinson, he gets a crease. He can get all the way to the cup.
Pettiford knocks down to Jay.
All right, now Auburn's going to have to see if they can find some juice. So the zone was effective in the first half. They're going to see if they can change things up.
Second foul on Keyshawn Murphy, who had 8 points in the opening half. Wilkinson, 3 off the mark. And there's Murphy with a rebound. Can he be a factor in the paint in the second half? Talked about some of those injuries that he has dealt with over the course of the season, feeling healthier. Meanwhile, Kevin Overton has scored 20 or more in 3 of his last 5 games. He too could be an X factor for this Auburn team. Wilkinson will go to the line for 2 shots.
Wilkinson, such a crafty and explosive guard. He gets a piece of the paint. He can create for himself and for others. Auburn's going to have to do a much better job of trying to stay in front of him and containing the dribble penetration.
And Keyshawn Murphy will likely come out of this game. That was his 3rd foul. Talking to himself frustratedly. Meanwhile, top 25 teams highlight our next women's basketball tripleheader tomorrow afternoon right here on the SEC Network, including the number 11 Kentucky team coming off an upset on a buzzer beater against LSU.
I expect Kentucky to climb in the rankings. Kenny Brooks has a very strong team. Big win on the road in Baton Rouge with a 3-pointer at the end of the game. But his front line, Clara Strack, Keone Key, really good players.
Pettiford rims it out. Jovic right there for the putback. Tony Morgan had 24 points, 12 assists, 0 turnovers in that game for the Kentucky Lady Wildcats.
Outstanding performance.
Pettiford step through, lays it in. 19 for the sophomore from Jersey City.
Just like that, the Tigers are back in it.
Until now, Jordan Ross with a response from the corner.
Auburn has to continue to do a much better job of after baskets to understand Georgia will continue to come at you. They're going to run after a make, after a miss, and they'll put a press on you.
Boy, what a feed. Pettiford to Jovic and a chance at an and one.
Great job right there to Todd Pettiford, dropping that one off to Jovic. Jovic missed an opportunity early on when the help came over and the ball was tipped and went out of bounds. This time he does a great job of spotting where the weak side defender was, meets the pass, and results in the and one. Look here, extends out as Wilkinson tries to come over and steals it, meets that pass, And this time he's going to the line for an old-fashioned three-point play.
Third foul, meanwhile, on the sharp shooting transfer from St. Mary's, Jordan Ross. Both teams with some foul trouble here early in the second half as Jovic completes the three-point play. Smurf Millender back into the game for Georgia. Had an excellent first half, 8 points, mixed it up defensively. Such a spark for this Dogs team that runs 11 deep.
Zone has been highly effective for Auburn.
Blue Kane, oh my goodness! Counted him out!
Beautiful move right there by Blue Kane. This kid has some sneaky athleticism. When he gets his left foot planted, you'll see this explosion. Boom! He takes flight, takes the bump, and that hang time. Excellent finish right there by Zero and White.
Richard, one of the questions coming into SEC play for Georgia, are they a legit top 25 team? They, of course, played a little bit of a weaker non-conference schedule this year than last year. Their only loss in overtime of the Charleston Classic Championship to Clemson, but they had yet to play a top-line, surefire NCAA tournament team besides maybe Clemson. They have given Auburn everything and more so far today in Athens.
I definitely think that Georgia looks like a strong NCAA tournament team. And sometimes you may not have been challenged, but there's plenty of teams that haven't been challenged. And there's the challenge right there of Tahad Pettiford. The beautiful move and pulling up in the mid-range. But both of these teams need a signature win, and you can tell they're competing as such.
Auburn seeking their second Quad 1 win of the season. Their only Quad 1 win so far against St. John's, and they have been battle-tested. 4 losses to top 10 teams. Seeking a signature road top 25 win in the SEC opener, and Tahad Pettiford giving his all. A game-high 21 points on 8 of 14, including 3 triples.
Cannon Catchings. 3 ball, won't go. Salto Surreal! Upstairs! Whoa! He went a stretch of games earlier this season, 18 for 18. Millender, straightaway 3.
Georgia's starting to pick up a little bit of juice, jumping in that full court pressure. This is where they go on their surge.
Williams, Adams, no. Jovic, set back by Surreal. First minutes of the second half for the freshman. Magwood. Well, it looked like that shot was altered.
He had a tough challenge. But he's done a really good job of handling it, and here he is in this game in the first SEC.
Smurf, Millender. Hall spins, shuffles, Murphy got it.
Big possession here for Auburn.
Kevin Overton probing, elevates and hits his 3rd made bucket of the game. He's in double figures.
Great.
Millender, blow by, felt the contact from Jovic and flexes.
Because those was muscles that he used on that one. And a beautiful block.
Cannon Catchings said, not right now. The Georgia Bulldogs defense, which leads the nation in blocks. Freeman, 3, knocks it in. Chance for Auburn to take the lead. And they do, slipping it past Absent. 6 to shoot. Millender, the inbounder, inside to Catchings, defended by Hall. Catchings, Blue Kane, at the buzzer, floats it in. Gets it into Jordan Ross. Catchings, baseline, wide open 3. Millender puts it down. Five threes for Millender. Freeman the other way on the feed by Pettiford.
Beautiful find. Tahad Pettiford coming up, dribbling with his head up.
Blue Kane over Jovic, banks it in.
That's excellent. Gets just a little bit of a crease in the corner.
Down goes Kane, Hall for three. Needed it from the left wing. Three from Wilkinson. Surreal following the miss. Back out Kane. Waving through the defense, lays it in.
On the second effort.
Pettiford, Hezzy, right past Surreal with the reverse.
Beautiful job by Tahad Pettiford.
Under 45 seconds to play. Wilkinson off the bounce. Sent back by Jovic. And a chance for the Tigers. Into the chest of Kane. Back out Pettiford. Floater over the top of Surreal. One possession game. One timeout left for the Tigers. 12 seconds to go. Keyshawn Hall with the basketball. Driving to the bucket. Hall through contact, counted in the foul. Hall misses. Williams Adams. Overton at the buzzer. Oh! Oh! Overtime in Athens. Unbelievable. They will check the monitor. Kevin Overton saves the day at the end of regulation.
After review, the basket is good, the overtime.
The most improbable of finishes. With 0.7 seconds, you had to get the perfect miss from Keyshawn Hall. Murphy fresh off the bench. Williams Adams fighting for it. Overton left hand rims down. Hall, kick out. Overton three, got it. Has he been the star down the stretch for Auburn? Wilkinson remains on the floor, really favoring that right ankle. Blue Kane bouncing it in the paint, back out Wilkinson three. 10,000 plus at Stegman Coliseum. Final minute of overtime. Wilkinson, oh yeah! Hall off the bounce. Sneaks it past Santos Surreal. Hall in trouble. 10 to shoot. Hall, double. Stolen away by Dylan James. 2 to go. Hall, step back three and won't count. Georgia steals a victory against Auburn in overtime. Their first win against the Tigers in 3 years.
This game lived up to the billing. We talked about two teams that wanted it